Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and this is Around the World in 30 Days. And I have decided to use this sketch from Christy with Christy's Beautiful Life because she has a little challenge going on right now. So I thought that I would combine the two. I love the sketch. It's so cool. And I've decided to use my Hip Kit Club for August for the first time. I have these two pictures of my mom and one has my daughter in it. And I'm going to use Speckled Egg and this shimmer spray, which is Blue Lagoon. And this, like I said, is the new collection by Hip Kit Club. That would be my son. And I think it's called Chasing the Sun. And so I pulled 3 different papers because I knew that I wanted to have 2 papers for the little scallops and then a background paper. I considered doing a solid, but decided I was going to just go for it and use papers from this collection. And I have the puffies and I have the puffy icons, the flare, all these different little this and that. And then I have these little chipboard cutouts, not chipboard, but cardstock cutouts. So I have all of that. And like I said, these 3 papers. And so I've got my papers, my mixed media, my ephemera, and all the bits. And then, of course, I have this awesome picture and this awesome sketch. So let's see how this goes. So first I trim the branding strip off of my base page, and then I'm going to cut this leafy floral, well, it's not floral, it's leafy. I'm going to cut that down to 4, and then I'm going to cut 2 of them at 4x3 exactly. And then I'm going to take the blue one, and I'm going to do the same thing with that, except I'm going to do 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Because that way I have a little border and I'm going to double map my pictures. So I am going to tear my papers to give me that little scallopy bit. And I don't want to waste anything. So I'm going to tape my top layer down. And the top layer is this blue. It looks white almost right here, but it's blue, tone on tone. And I'm going to tape it towards the very top of that leafy paper, and then I'm going to tear it. And you know, it's hard. I was just talking to a friend. It's hard to tear this paper when it's an exclusive and you only have one of each. So I wanted to make sure I had one that was more of a colorful paper so that it would stand out. And then I'm just going to turn it and use that same side so that the tear is pretty much the same on both sides of both papers. And it's not completely controlled, but it is kind of controlled. And then I just trim it because I'm not wasting all that paper. I'm going to put that in my kit and use that for something else in the future. So, and now I have a little scallopy bit. Now it looks like there is 3 layers of that scallopy bit. I did change my mind about using that palm tree paper and decided to go with the blue because the predominant amount of this picture, other than my mom and my sister, my daughter, is blue, and it's the ocean or the sky. So I decided I'd take the speckled egg and I am going to make that my 3rd layer of paper. And I am so sorry that it is so low that you only see part of what I'm doing. I think I cut out a lot of what you miss, but when it comes to this, I only show you how I do one side of it, then I do the other side. I mean, you know, it's pretty much the same. I just keep moving the paper back and forth. I didn't want to ink too much. I don't want to waste ink. I didn't want to go too high up. I want it to be just like another layer of paper. And I love the way this turned out. That speckled egg is almost like it was meant to go with the light blue on that leafy paper because it is the almost exact same shade. And it didn't look like it to me, like looking at the ink pad. But when I looked at my swatch that I have, it looks the same. So I just use that empty package so I can go all the way to the edge and not get it on my desk, even though I can wipe it off easily. And then I trim my picture down, and I'm pretty sure I trimmed them to 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, so that there was like a 1/4 inch border. And then I mat them on that leafy paper first, and then I'm going to ink them. And I ink them with broken china because it's a little bit dark. No, I'm sorry. I ink them with, I gotta think. Something very appropriate. Oh, Salty Ocean. I have broken china sitting on my desk for something that I'm about to do. And so I looked over and saw that. So I inked that around the edges of both layers in that Salty Ocean. And I just tape the middle down so that I'm going to be able to tuck in the little leafy, or on her sketch, she's got florals. But because the icons I have for this are those leaves that match the paper, I am going to use those instead. So these come out of that, the die cuts, and I'm going to use, I think, the majority of those on my layout. You know, it's sitting right next to me. You all. Oh boy. Anyway, so I use Nuvo Deluxe for pretty much all of these. And I originally put this little blue one down, and it's got glue on it. And after I put it down, I'm like, it disappeared right into the page. So I end up pulling it off. Of course, it tears my paper, but I fix it and you can't see it. And I add another leafy bit right here, and then put the blue on top of it so that you can actually see it, because there's no difference between that blue and the blue in the background paper. So I get that down, and then I put that little leafy bit on top, and then I'm going to cover it with a cute little flower. And I love the way that turned out. This is a, it's a really cute layout. I love how all the things went well together, and I love that ink going around, making that third layer. I had the idea to do it, and I just am thrilled when the ideas that you have in your head actually turn out to look the way you're wanting them to. So I get that down there, and like I said, I'm sorry for some of the bottom getting cut off. Sometimes I think I move it down to do something, and then in the bottom of that page kind of disappears for a little while. So I am just tucking things here and there. And this cute little thing that has the seashells on it says on vacation until further notice. And then it says something about summer. Well, this is spring break, so I tuck it in at the bottom because I obviously don't want it to say summer, but I want to use it because it's perfect. So I think it said something like on vacation until further notice, summer vibes or something. Summer's here. And so I just tuck it in because you can still see the on vacation until further notice, because this is like the first day that we were there. So then I'm starting to build up here at the top, and I think it looks ridiculous in the not that it looks ridiculous completely, but it's going to look ridiculous if I don't get something to kind of cover that middle section, because where everything is coming together, you're going to see it, because the title I'm putting on this layout is one of those thin cursive titles, and I, don't want it to be kind of silly looking under there. So I go through my die cuts. I pull all my ephemera up here, and obviously I don't want to use anything with dimension because it's already going to have layers of paper and things. So I find this little orange leaf, and I'm going to tack that down right there where all of those leaves connect. That way it covers that, and then I can put this teal aqua colored title that says vacation on top of the leafy bits. And so I do like the way that comes out. I do go ahead and ink it, or not ink it, but put glue on it, just because it's on so many bumpy things. I've never used this product from Hip Kit Club before, so I don't know if it's like some other companies that sometimes don't stick real great. So I just figure it's better safe than sorry. Plus, like I said, it's on top of a bunch of layers. And so I just go ahead and use my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to attach that down. So then once I get all of that, this is where you lose kind of the bottom. I just start finding things in the ephemera and in the little kit, the little packs that I want to use. One of them is like a material, and it says love this, and it's got an arrow, so it's pointing to the picture of my daughter and my mom. And then I also pull one of the little flat flares out that says enjoy the little things, because this is us just kind of hanging out on the back patio of the house we were renting. And so it wasn't any big fancy thing that was going on this day. We were just kind of hanging out. So then I pull some of the hearts off of this titles, the puffy titles, and I put a yellow one up at the top because I've got a yellow embellishment at the bottom. And I put a pink one up at the top, and so that kind of helps balance out that yellow and pink that I have at the bottom. And then on the very bottom, and I don't know if you'll see it until the close-ups, but I have a little, one of those little half circles, and it says made for sunshine. And it was a gorgeous sunny day. And then I wanted to even out the little heart up at the top corner, so I add this little floral right below the title. And then I think the only other thing I did was where I have that love this, I felt like it was a weird gap between that and the our on vacation until further notice, so I pulled this little orangey colored puffy that says sunshine, and I add that between the two so it bridges that gap. And then I also pull this little chipboard heart that's kind of an off, not as pretty fancy as the puffies. It's a little bit more wonky, which I love. And that brings that yellow on to the top part of the page, or the top part of the pictures. So now I have 3 different places, that triangle of yellow, and I love that. And then I cover everything, and I use the shimmer spray by Diane Reevely to tap out some Blue Lagoon. So here comes the close-ups. Normally they're a little slower, but I hope you will go down and check out everybody who is hopping along with the Around the World in 30 Days, and go check out 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. She has a sketch up till the 31st, so have a great day and happy scrapping.